guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. Look at that, I'm back and everyone's in the right camera spots. Holy shit. Uh, if you like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon, just like these fine folks that you see here before you. Link in the description down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation, and as always in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, invoke Mina's mom, I guess. And two, every single dollar that goes back into that goes back to this channel for all kinds of things like editing and artwork and overlays and a mortgage. Fun things like that that help improve the channel and keep me homed. And look, it looks like I know what I'm doing. I vaguely remember how to stream. Let's pretend I knew how to GM all along.
Turn on the bot thingy.
You turn on the bot thingy.
I don't know how to do that.
All right. I forgot one thing, G. Christ. All right. While I get the bot thingy going, previously on the Rise. Following Korax into the city, Mina and Antares quickly located him in a nearby tavern. This led to a brief altercation that ultimately ended in an all-out bar brawl. Annoyed, Seydlitz recovered his companions and brought them to a meeting at the Whitecap Guildhall to request assistance for their upcoming delve. The Whitecaps acquiesced to their request and set to create a contract while Mina, Seydlitz, and Antares headed to rent a room at a local inn. When I read it like that, it sounds very mundane. Everything seems super casual. Nothing crazy happened. Nothing untoward happened.
No one was headbutted.
Yeah, no one. It seems like it was all just like a casual stroll in the park with an annoying, grumpy dad named Seydlitz.
Yeah.
So we're going to start here in a second after I stop getting yelled at by G and turn the bot thingy on. But we do start, not where any of us thought we'd start, I don't think, in the chat before this. We do start in the middle of the street inside Tanabar Holdfast. The last we left our intrepid heroes is Seydlitz has his hand extended out as if to receive a mysterious, sad orb. And Antares is kind of pocketing the orb as if trying to perhaps keep it away from Seydlitz. And Mina has just dropped the proverbial bomb. It's my mother. That's where we leave you. That's where we start today. So you were all arguing, as you were, not arguing, you were discussing through your own heated tones, as you walked through the streets to find an inn. Seydlitz was asking for the orb, and Antares, you were being, let's go with the theme for this entire show. You were being shady about it. And you were trying to play a little keep away, like, oh, it was a bad idea, maybe I'll just put this here, you don't need to have this. And in the middle of this, Mina goes rigid and shock white, and he says that the voice he has been hearing calling him is his mother's voice. What do you guys do with that information?
So Mina stops walking.
Oh yeah, you guys all stopped as Mina said that.
Okay. She will stop and look back. And she will say, "How do you know?"
I saw her. Sometimes I don't know how this God radio thing works, but sometimes I can see them as well. And she was there with all these kids.
What?
And she told them that we're coming to rescue them.
Oh, great. No pressure. Okay.
We've got to get down there. Quick.
Quick?
I
We're
mean,
not ready.
I mean, I was going to say if it was your mum, wouldn't you do the same? But you probably wouldn't.
Yeah, bad example. But I get your
point.
point.
He looks at Seydlitz and says, if it was your mum, you'd want to get down there, wouldn't you? I mean, it's your dad, kind of, so probably...
Even if we do it quickly, if we run down there without preparation, you might as well be killing her and ourselves.
He's right.
But I have to do something. I can't just go to a tavern, have a bar fight. Haha, funny all round. We've got to get down there as quick as we can.
She puts both hands on his shoulders. It's like, we are doing something. You are doing what you can. And we're going as fast as safely possible. We can't run off half-cocked. You know this.
I mean, it's kind of my signature brand, but okay. But there must be more we can do while we wait. How did she get down there?
I don't know. And where was she? At the steps of the Colossus, like you said?
Yeah, with the others praying to me.
Maybe we can, she looks back at Seydlitz. Maybe we could find out if his mother took a mission. Like she got a contract for someone to go down there. Because no one goes down there without the Whitecaps knowing, right?
Do you really believe that, Puffery?
Well, they certainly believe it. I'm assuming getting in there without them knowing might be a little difficult for normal people.
Is there some sort of registry of expeditions? Do we have to is there someone we can just check on a list, or? But I didn't see my father down there. He wasn't down there either.
But your mom's the soldier, right? And your dad's the tailor?
Yeah. But they travel everywhere together.
Maybe we can try finding your dad.
And Mina will look at Seydlitz and go, is there an area for all the tailors and seamstresses in this place? Do you have any contacts here?
I only know a handful of things about this place, like, where's good to eat and where's a decent inn.
Well, I guess that's a start, maybe.
If we're going to wait, we might as well wait for Fernand to show up in a few days. He might know.
Oh, okay.
Come on, let's walk. We have to find a place to stay. So.
Right. Do we need to find a place for where do the caravans normally stay? Is there somewhere near there so we're close to it, all the gear when it shows up? We can get there quicker.
I don't know. I'm assuming they would just
Mina?
stay in the caravan.
You must find a place befitting your status as a general.
What?
I don't think he gives a shit about that.
No, he doesn't, but the queen might.
She turns and she sees an inn right there. This one looks good. Whatever status it is.
Okay. Let's
Mike,
how do we let Korax know where we are?
What level of quality is the inn that Antares points at? I just want to ask.
It's not like, so the people who work for the guilds all have access to the guild hall. So it's usually like visitors or like, you know, non-gilded delvers that are staying in inns, or the refugees of Samora before the war. So it's like it's not poor quality. You're nearby. You're like a couple blocks away from the Whitecaps Guild Hall, which is the most prosperous guild hall. So like it's not like, you know, the slums. It's probably just not the fanciest. So it's probably like, you know, upper middle class hotel. It's like a Days Inn.
God,
it's like a Marriott. One of the Marriotts with a kitchen in there. That's what it is. It's a residence inn. So it's not like terrible. It's just not like ritzy.
So quickly, because we don't give a shit about where we're staying, we're gonna get a couple rooms. 2 rooms. One for Antares and the boys can share. I'm just joking.
Who's the banker on this? Who's in charge of God money?
Who's in charge of the group fund? Nobody.
Like,
I thought we were being bankrolled by the Queen of Zamora at this point.
that's funny.
Fine for.
Yeah.
Forward.
So we won't have to roleplay minutia here. You
Yeah.
guys easily have a short interaction with the innkeeper, an appropriate number of rooms, whatever you guys decide for thematic purposes, is delved out to all of you. Keys are provided, and the rooms are fairly uniform. Each room does have a small fireplace, not like a fireplace in the wall, but more like a medium-sized like potbelly stove with a few like pots and pans you could cook on the top of the stove. A nice large plush bed, a nice large plush like high-backed winged chair, and a table. So it's a fairly cushy stay here. And if there are people doubling up, there are multiple beds in the rooms as necessary. Only one table and chair, only one stove. But yeah, the rooms are fairly similarly dressed. Deep maroons, mahogany woods, etc., and double curtains, so you can sort of open them up and let the light filter in through some gossamer curtains. Fancy. So you guys get all of that, and each room is equipped, each bed has a lockbox at the end of each bed, so you can lock your own things in there if you so choose. If there are things you don't want to carry around the city with you, little small personal safe.
I immediately went to like a coin insert when you said a lockbox, like, oh, magic fingers. It's like, what the fuck kind of hotel is this?
Wow, the beds actually rotate. If you put a single star in there, the beds will rotate and they vibrate. It's a whole
and those mirrors on the ceiling are just off-putting above the bed.
And all of a sudden, you guys realize where all the red lanterns, what they meant as you were walking by this particular part of the city. Jesus Christ! Welcome back.
All right. Antares, after we get our rooms, Antares has been like hurt and abrupt the whole time, and she's gonna go back down to the receptionist, and or hotelier, whatever the hell they're called.
Hotelier?
Yes.
I like how you just added like a French ending to the word hotel.
And she goes...
He's Canadian, Mike. They speak French.
Like a sommelier, but for hotels.
Le hotelier. Le hotel. She goes... she goes to the guy. And she asks him...
I think we've been derailed.
No, I refuse. She goes to the guy and where is the nearest tailor?
I'm still fucked up over hotelier.
Do you have a tailor district?
And
if he's not there, she's like ding 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 ding.
I also like the fact that Norm didn't bother to point out the actual French word other than quietly in chat.
Concierge. Yes. Ding,
Okay.
ding, ding,
Okay.
ding, ding, ding.
End scene. He looks to you, and with impeccable French hotelier accent, he says, "Oh yes, you would like the tailor district? Yes, it is actually 3 blocks down and to the left. If you would, to the north from here, and you can find there is only 3 or 4 different tailors. It's not really much of a district. It is more or less the how you say
She
textiles.
cuts him off, mercy
district.
buckets, and she walks away.
Anytime you need anything from the hotelier, I am here.
And Henri the hotelier. She's gonna go. She cuts him off and walks away and goes fine. It's me now.
What is his name? Monsieur Henri Gusteau.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the voice of every drow in any D&D game I play. If anyone's ever all drow are French. Everyone knows that.
Like all doors are Irish.
Yeah, they're Scottish. All
Scottish.
drows are Scottish. All drow are French.
Okay, so like the Taylor district is this way.
Are you going? Are you trying to bring everybody?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring him. I'm not gonna go without Mina because I don't even know what his parents look like or what their names are. So.
Okay. So
Wow,
you
someone
are.
didn't listen
Go ahead.
when Seydlitz's grandmother was telling her the names of Mina's parents.
Yes. That. Oh yeah. Sorry. I'm assuming that she
Different.
would have known, but I do not remember.
Arel is the mother's name, and oh god, I want to say it begins with an H.
Don't ask me.
Uldorn.
I'm looking it up now.
Uldorn. Arel and Uldorn.
Wait, Norm, don't ask you, the guy who
Can you
made the
spell
it?
characters.
You know how long it's been since I looked at my backstory?
Several years. So it's episode 42. 42 months of playing. That's like what, 3 years? 4 years? Almost 4 years? That's wild. That's wild to think about. Gross. I hated that thought. Thanks, guys. It's been so long. Holy crap. I'm old. Yeah, so are the three of you headed that way? So Antares comes back with this information. I assume, Mina, you're a little distraught. Seydlitz, you're kind of focused on the mission. What are the three of you doing with this information?
Mina will just look at Antares when she comes in and goes, "Well, let's go." Are you bringing Seydlitz?
Seydlitz will look at them and kind of just sigh and start following along.
Well, you don't have to come if you don't want to. If you do have things to do.
As long as we can go to a nice place to eat after this.
Well, we need food, so
Well, I know a good
need-
place, but let's do this first.
we need to meet with Korax too. Hopefully, this contract doesn't take forever, and then we will head into the direction that Henri pointed us.
You do know that the contract business was said to take about an hour. So it has absolutely not been that long. So an hour is your rough time frame before Korax is done. Yeah, so the three of you head out of La Petite Noire, which is the name of the inn here. And you head down to the down to the textile district, where you do see there are like not to continue with the French words, but there are like clothiers, there are like tanneries, there are things that would there's like a not exactly like a full smithy, but there are metalworks, small metalworks stations here, and you make your way through the textile district. What are you looking for specifically? There are, as Henri had put it, there are about 4 that you can discernibly pick out as tailors. They do not look like. They do not look like a mom and pop tailor shop in the same guise as like where Seydlitz's family works, or where Korax went to go get his cape, his cloak rather. But they are more of like we supply all of the gambesons for the entire guild of whoever. Like it's essentially like if a smaller building were a factory and the factory were people. So like they do mass productions of things and less about like individual. Like if you can't hem your own pants, get out of here. I don't have time to fix your armor. I have 700 orders from the Whitecaps kind of place, right? Slightly larger, slightly more industrial. But yeah, you do see that there are 4 of them, all named like Thread and Bear, as like one of their names, or like so a needle pulling thread is the the names of.
Did I get a copyright for that?
Yeah.
You so and so.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so you see these more industrial tailor.
I guess Mina's looking for any that he might ring a bell for him, if something that maybe Alden has mentioned in the past.
So good. Perfect. Yeah, go ahead and roll me an intelligence check. We'll call it difficulty 3. This is like recalling memory kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you do know to use the last one there in the chart from Chris. You do know of a place called So Good, and you know that there was an employee there. You're not sure what like position they are in the company, but you know your father had mentioned him. His name is Darren Bradson. And he has had some sort of dealing with your father in the past. You have a feeling that it was at least amicable, if not like a good dealing with him, like a friendly dealing with him. But you recall him working here like as a youth before you had made it, as more of a youth than you are now, before you had made it to Dawnsfall.
Yeah, so Mina will just turn to them both and say, I think my father knew someone in here. Shall we try there first?
Lead the way.
Yeah, and Mina will just head towards the door and open the door and look for someone that looks like they'll deal with them.
You open this, and it is essentially like a factory floor, but for tailoring. Essentially, there are tailors and seamstresses, and there are large like machines that are like spewing out bolts. You see people with like massive shears that are cutting said bolts, templates of like gambeson or heraldry or tabards or like the paddings and all kinds of things, right? And it is very chaotic. You see a lot of people like calling in response. You see like one person like up sort of like not exactly on a podium but up on like a raised dais, sort of calling out to people, and it's almost like if any of you had ever been on a ship where they are calling and they are responding with something. You see a bunch of people move kind of in unison, pull a ream down, slice the ream, transport the ream. Everything works like a well-oiled machine, but under mostly human power. So no one is really paying attention to you, not in the sense that they don't acknowledge you, but on the sense that they are kind of lockstep, and if any one person steps out of line, the whole thing sort of fucks up. So you see the person sort of giving commands seems to be like the least physically involved, and you see that there are 3 of those people, 2 to your left as you walk in on opposite sides of the building, like near you and far, and then 1 further away. And you do see there is a catwalk above, not exactly a second level, but it's a high, like a vaulted ceiling. You see a catwalk, and there's 1 office to the side, and you see there is someone sort of pacing around the catwalk as if like being the manager, like maintaining the consistency of the whole ship, as it were. Yeah, so no one really approaches you. People are looking at you because you shouldn't be here. People are absolutely looking at you. You see a couple eyes gawk over, a couple of head nods, but no one is approaching you as of yet.
Yeah, Mina will approach the nearest, I guess, shop foreman or whoever is semi in charge.
Sure. That would probably be one of the guys shouting out commands.
Yeah.
So you approach the first one, who is shouting out commands. He is probably like 6'2", like cascade of blonde hair, a pointed blonde sort of beard, no mustache, and he is wearing. Everyone sort of has like almost like a uniform, and it's blue. You see that his blue has like a red cross over it, like meaning that he must be some sort of supervisor. You see that the other guy and the other one at the other end all have the same red sash across theirs. As you approach him, he continues continues to like shout out commands. He does look down at you from like his raised platform as he's shouting out commands. You hear sort of more echo back and forth, and he just sort of puts a finger up to you and like wordlessly tells you to like wait, and kind of shoos you to the side as he continues. And as long as you do that, this continues for about 5, maybe 10 more minutes before the person on top pulls a chain and you hear a whistle, and then everything stops in the entire place. And you see everyone sort of just file out of the building as they are on a union break. And you see him turn to you and he says, yes?
Yes. Oh, sorry. I was looking for, and my memory blanks already. Is it Darren
Bradson.
Branson? Darren Branson?
Yeah. He would have. I'm sorry. We don't usually. It's not a place where we have guests. Darren's outside with the rest of the workers here. Do you need something?
Oh, yeah. My father used to have dealings with him and the business here. And I don't know. Do you know Aldorn Hahn? Well, I was just in the area and I hadn't seen him for a while, so I was hoping to catch up with someone that knew him that might know where he is.
Are you looking for Branson Senior or Junior?
I don't know. Depends how senior the senior guy is or junior the junior guy is.
The junior guy is arguably your age.
Probably not. Then senior.
Then I guess follow me. This is very strange. And he sort of steps down and begins to walk you guys up a corrugated metal staircase up to that second area towards the office of that you saw up here. Do you all follow?
Yeah.
Beta follows.
Seydlitz.
Seydlitz is just kind of following along with this. He's still on the we need to wait a few days if we're gonna go down after her regardless.
That's fair. That's fair. So in that case, it sounds like the rest of you follow him up there. He leads you along and he knocks on the door. You hear like a throaty yes. And he says, there are 3 people here to meet you. Something about a Han, an Aldorn Han. He says, wait a second. And you see a shadow on the other side of the frosted glass as this large man opens the door. You see, again, probably like 6'5", heavy-set fellow. Heavy-set in the sense that his suspenders are really doing some work here. He's got a thick brown beard, bald head. And he looks to you and he says, none of you are Aldorn Han.
No, but he's sorry, sir. He's my father.
Oh. Mina.
Yes, that's me. Mina.
And he makes
more taller now, older.
It's been.
And Terry's is just like in the back going like.
It's a French thing. He looks to you and says, "It's been years, boy. How are you? Come in. Francis, enjoy your break." And he ushers you all in and sort of closes the door behind you. And he says, to what do I owe the honor of the portion of the Han family? And he motions to Antares.
Oh no, they're just my traveling bitch.
Doesn't Terry's gag in game?
No.
Aw.
And Terry's just like, no, just traveling friend.
Companions. I understand.
Yeah.
In my youth, I traveled with the Hans here and there a few times. well, to what do I owe the pleasure of having young Mina Han here in my office of all places?
We were just in the area, and I hadn't seen my parents for a while, and I got some news that my mother Ariel was in the depths, and I just thought maybe you knew something about them being in the area, and if Old Dawn's still here, or if he went with her, or yeah.
She puts her hand on Mina's shoulder.
He smiles and gives Mina a knowing look. And he says, "No, your parents. I haven't seen them in years."
That's unfortunate. So you haven't seen Mr. Han maybe within the last year or so? Any news
in
of
the
Dawnfall?
last several years. And any time he was in the holdfast, he would not miss an opportunity to come see me. You see, Old Dawn, or Mr. Han, as you call him, he has taught me everything I knew about tailoring. Got me my first tailoring job, and look where I am now. Anytime he enters the holdfast, he's treated to a delicious meal, a free night stay, and entertainment on the house. So good.
Hmm.
But he hasn't been back recently. Like he's not here recently, because he would have come and seen you, right? If he was here.
I would
So he hasn't
imagine,
been
unless we had a falling out that I'm unaware of.
No, he always spoke highly of you. He when he mentioned you, he was always very proud of what you'd achieved.
And in that case, no, I have not. I haven't seen him in some 2, maybe 3 years. Your mother as well, and as charming as she was never made it. Was never one to leave it unknown that she had been taking an important mission. So I think the whole city would have heard about it.
So you don't know if she knew anyone in the city that she might take a mission for, or she had any
outside of the guild halls. The only way to take a mission here into the deeps would be a private party, unless she did not come through this holdfast. There are the others as well, each with their own entrances to the deeps. Perhaps she visited one of those. I can't imagine why. What with the Dawnsfall being so close, only a day or so travel from here.
So Dawnsfall's kind of not there anymore. Don't know if you heard.
Like they moved the town, or
it kind of got destroyed in a storm and a raid by the Nafar about 12 months ago.
This is the first I'm hearing of this. You said the Nafar. You said 12 months. I mean,
I think so.
The town is a little out of the way for trade routes. I guess I'm ultimately not surprised that I didn't hear anything, given that not many caravans make their way up that way. But 12 months is quite a bit. And the Nafar, this far east.
Yeah, they apparently had been harassing the village for a while. The last I was there maybe 18 months ago, and when they attacked the village once, and after I left, apparently they came back, and there was a huge storm during the attack, and the town is devastated.
Mina, I apologize. This is the first I've heard of any of this. The only relevant news I've heard recently was that a Chryserian army had marched on Samora, and that we and several of the other holdfasts were housing some women, children, elderly from the city, those incapable of fighting. And from what I understand, that seems to have all cleared up in the last few weeks.
Yeah, the Queen managed to sort it out. So that's when we saw our opportunity to come here. We're doing a delve for the Queen.
In
so
the
we,
employ of the Queen. Not too shabby, Mr. Hahn.
Yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. But yeah, we're just I just took the opportunity. Then I had news that my mum was stuck down in the depths, and that I just was anxious to try to find out where she was and how she got there, and if my father was with her, and then I remembered he'd had businesses with you, so I came here, and now we're here.
No, I do understand that your mother, in her mercenary work, was prone to take private commissions, private jobs. It is rare that she would. That is risky, Mina, to just enter the depths. I assume she had a retinue, but it is dangerous. Your mother was an accomplished fighter, but not an accomplished delver. Are you sure she's?
That's that's the information I've come across, is that she's there, and seems to be trapped with a bunch of children, which seems weirder, because unless there was a school excursion to the depths. Do the schools here do excursions to the depths? That seems dangerous. I don't think they should do that.
They do not. There are no schools that bring children. It is a considerably deadly place.
That was my thoughts too. Yeah.
And the source you have is reliable.
It's first-hand information, so it's as reliable as me talking to you.
I'm sorry, you lost me at that last part. How, if you're looking for your mother, how have you also spoken or heard from her if she's lost in the depths?
She was praying to me, and I can hear when mortals pray to me.
I admit that my son speaks a lot of gibberish, and that I haven't quite kept up with the local teen vernacular. But when you say the word pray and the word mortal, what do you mean?
So turns out there's new gods rising, and I'm one of them. I don't know if you remember Rhea. She's one too, but and so when someone prays to me, I can hear it, and occasionally I get a vision, and people have been praying to me down in the depths, and they needed my help, so we're arranging to go down and try to rescue them. We have other things to do down there, but that's not relevant to this conversation. But and in the last time they were praying to me, I actually had a vision, and I saw that Arel was with them, and she was saying that I was coming to save them.
He stands there and just looks at all of you for a good minute and a half, just sort of really just taking you apart. And then he bursts out into uproarious laughter and claps you on the back, Mina. And he says, You had me going. Did your father put you up to this? A new god, I'm a god. I bet you're not even working for the queen. You have the gift of performance, lad, and your friends just stone-faced to boot. Even the elderly gentleman. Um, he's not elderly. He's only 35. I don't know why we keep calling Seydlitz elderly. And he says, even this man, to keep this a level of humor I did not expect of you, Mina. I will tell this story to my son. He will get a good laugh out of this. Well, do tell your father that you successfully pulled one over on the old man.
If you do, and she kind of leans forward and she hands him a card that the hotelier would have given her. She gives it to him. It's like, regardless, if you hear from Mr. Hahn, can you please tell him that his son very much would like to speak with him? This is where we're staying.
Oh, yes. I'll tell him a job well done on this clever ruse. And he, takes the card out of your hand.
Yes.
Kids
Good.
these days.
Yes.
Oh, well.
I've been having loads of trouble keeping up with his shenanigans.
Remember to tip your entertainment, she says.
He
to
says,
him.
well, you know,
Don't do that.
I needed a good laugh today. But you kids, please, stay safe on the factory floor. We do have to get back to work. And Mina, you do tell your parents, good one from the Bransons. I will be telling my staff about this joke. And he opens the door, and you see him, as he opens the door to, let you guys leave, he just pull that chain again, and a loud whistle goes off, and you see, the door is open, and people start to file back in. And you can hear him chuckling to himself as you guys start to leave, if that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mina just looks very crestfallen and very disappointed, and looks hopefully at Antares and Seydlitz for help, but given the lack of it, he'll just file out with them.
Yeah, I think she will. Oddly enough, she puts almost a consoling arm around his shoulders and turns him, and leads him and gives him a gentle push and walks with him out the door. Getting sick and tired of, and she says under her breath, this is getting awfully tiring of this whole situation being a joke to everybody.
Well, we haven't proven ourselves to be taken seriously in this city.
I feel like they wouldn't know what slapped them straight in the face. So
Imagine when the news comes from Samora that Samora has 5 new gods. Do you think they'd out our names anyway? They'd just say, "Oh, there's the god of this or the god of that." They wouldn't know what we look like, what we're called, anything.
I kind of like that they don't know that we're gods and treat us differently, but at the same time, it would have been helpful in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Or it could have backfired in your face.
That's what the sword is for.
Honestly, I'm happy the White Caps didn't take us seriously.
Why?
It means they're fools.
I like the thought of that. But then they're also
incredibly dangerous
us?
fools.
Yeah, the fools that we're following.
They're fools and they're guiding us. Doesn't that make us fools for following them?
Well, if we know they're fools and we're willingly following them, but we know, are we?
We're not following them. They're just helping us out. We're just gonna. We know full well they're probably gonna stab us in the back at one point or another. So we just ditch the guide halfway through.
That's also what the sword is for. Maybe this guide knows of a back door, because aren't those supposed to exist into the depths? How did RL get into the third depth, or get into, or all the way to, with these children? Do you know how many children there were? Do you remember?
A lot.
Should we continue this? Should we go grab Korax and continue this conversation elsewhere?
Yeah, let's go see if he's done.
Yep. Okay.
And we will start heading towards that way.
You guys head back towards the actual guild hall.
Yeah. Dejectedly head back to the guild hall to meet the Korax.
Good. Korax, you find yourself in a chair, a row of chairs. You're back to the wall, facing the clerks that are working diligently on yours and many other contracts. You noted immediately that yours did not start progress until they had completed their other works. There was no priority set to yours, despite being hand-delivered down by Marvelous. So you watch them work diligently, and there's something about the flutter of pages, the sound of parchment rubbing on parchment as they slide a new paper across an old one, and the sound of the scratching of a quill on a scroll of paperwork, the smells of that like dusty pages, the smell that like sort of chemical smell of the ink that just sort of is comforting to you. It's as if this is the closest. This clerical office is the closest to a library that you have been in the weeks that you have been traveling here. So there's a certain level of home here. There's an ambiance that is welcoming to you, Korax. And as you sit here, sort of watching the clerics move back and forth, a paper gets passed here, T's are dotted, I's are crossed, etc. As they slide these across back and forth, again working almost like a well-oiled machine. There's a constant like thump of a wax seal being pressed onto something. You can hear the of the pen scrolling across. You're sitting here for a good 20, 30, 40 minutes. Time seems to sort of meld together in here, watching the minutia and the monotony of a clerical office. This is like watching a bank teller tell. It's not a fun place to be, but there is a calming sensation to it. And it is about that 30, 40-minute mark where you notice something strange about the workers in here. They're very practiced, and everything is sort of almost animatronic, right? Everything is automated in that kind of sense. But you start to scrutinize the people as you're watching them, because something is sort of jarring and standing out to you. And it takes a little while for you to realize what it is as you're like examining different parts of what they're doing. Perhaps it's the machinations of the movements. And then you realize that the three people behind the clerical desks are all wearing your face. So you're watching a, 4.5 foot tall woman with a blonde bob with your face. You're watching a young man, probably about the same age as you, perhaps. 5'6", over there, your face, but a couple of pimples on there. And you're watching an older man with a gray beard with your face, slicked back gray hair, all working as they continue to shuffle papers back and forth.
Korax goes from having his feet across on another chair to sitting forward, watches them all again for a few seconds before standing up, makes sure he has everything on him, and starts slowly moving towards the door.
The door to leave?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You see that they all sort of look up and almost not like Creepy Doll wave to you, but they all in their own time wave to you. They did tell you it would take an hour and that you're free to kind of move around the cabin at will. As you stand up, you have all your items on you and you begin to walk out of the door. You walk out of the clerical office into like this grand, to continue, a grand foyer. With our French words, a grand foyer out here. You see the large, grandiose staircase that sort of led up to the upper levels of the guild hall. You see a number of other, hallways and doors leading off to other parts. But as you enter into here, you remember that the guild hall was sort of a little bit of a hub of activity, and there seems to be no one here in the grand entrance.
Once he's out of the room and he can't see the people, he stops, listens quietly, realizes that it's very quiet outside, and then he just slowly puts his head back into the room to look at the people working.
You hear that sound again, the rushing of paper and the quills, and they all look up to you. Kind of give you a weird look that you're just sort of sticking your head into the room. And you see them exchange glances, and they continue all wearing your face.
It's not healthy, Mike.
It's weird, huh?
He would slowly back away towards where he came from.
Like out of the building?
Yes, but probably the long way around.
Okay.
Because, they were led down here by weirdos. So he's going to head back that direction.
Okay. So you head through the myriad hallways and doors back through this way. And you see, it's a fairly, uniform hallway inside this massive guild hall, carpeted with like a regal carpet. There are like paintings, like oil paintings done of like, important Delver of the Year kind of thing, like important people or important artifacts, more often than not, of things that have been found by the Whitecaps, right? And you do see there are like doors that open into various parts of this area. Some doors are cracked open, some doors are closed, some doors are outright open into these areas. Do you pay attention to any of them, or are you just sort of on a mission walking to where you have to go?
Every time he passes an open door, he would stop before it, and then really, slowly, creepily just put his head round and look inside.
You look inside the first door, and you see a stone building, like a stone room, of which there are many beds, probably like a dozen like bunk beds on them. And you see on one of them is a woman sort of laid out, facing away from you. And you see next to her is sort of like a basket with like a bundle under, like raising it up like close to bed level. And you see something kind of moving in the basket. And you see a young man sort of slumped against the wall, face sort of turned away from you, and you see vines begin to grow out of the basket and just begin to flow down all over this room and sort of cover up every inch of the room. And that's what you see in the first room.
He would then go from just having his head in to quickly walking past, but not looking away.
Sure.
To the other side, and then walking on. Do
you continue poking your head into rooms?
Any door that's open, he would just stop and look at it before he walks past.
Yeah, perfect. You continue walking down. You see in another room. You see you poke your head into that room, and there is a dark, it's almost pitch black in the room, and you can see that there is some sort of light entering the room, but you can't exactly tell from where. And the shadows look like grasping hands. Like this light must be coming through something. And there's an overpowering stench of decay, like rotten meat and bones and death in here. And you can see, as your eyes adjust to the darkness, you can see this like huge open expanse, and you see laying in the middle of it, which its matted fur almost blends in with the dirt and darkness here. You see this huge creature that towers over you, that just sort of is slowly breathing. And as it shifts, you see this looks like an enormous, like 10, 20 foot tall bear. And you see the front half of its face is entirely bone, as it just sort of shifts in its sleep and rolls to its side.
He's going to get to the other side of the door and then nope out of there.
So you quickly nope out of that room, or you just nope out of the building?
Out of the building.
Okay. You run down this hallway, and you see doors open to your left and right, and just the images in these doors just sort of whiz by you as you run to this room, and we see the camera, a trick of the camera. We see a zoom in, dolly out motion where it looks like we are getting closer to Korax, but the hallway is moving further away as Korax continues to just bound through this room. It seems as though this hallway extends on, ever present here. Doors begin to open and close as you go down. These colors blur. You hear voices and sounds, and you catch a word or two here and there as you run by. And eventually, all at once, boom, you find yourself at a door. You have to like almost skid to a halt as the hallway ends in a double door. A pretty standard wooden, like aged wood, iron banding style medieval door. You're muted.
He's going to rush to try and open the door, grab the handles, and before he does, he stops. Just for a beat, looks over his shoulder, and then just swings the doors open.
You swing the doors open, and you are met with a smell of delicious foods. You smell sugary confectionaries. You smell savory meats, and before you is a 12-foot long banquet table. There are 6 chairs on either side, 2 at the end. You see candelabras of wax sort of melting. You see a massive roast boar in the center, trophy apple in the mouth. You see plates of sugared vegetables, of just like sweet treats. You see this massive spread laid out before you in this room. And as you kind of look into this room and sort of take it in slowly, all of the chairs seem to be gilded. There's filigree on the table that also seems to be gilded. You see these vaulted ceilings. You see these huge 10-foot tall windows, these vaulted windows. All of their frames also gilded in this thing. And as you sort of look up, you see that there are massive chandeliers, but the chandeliers don't seem to be anchored to anything. They seem to be floating, freestanding here in the ceiling. You see a massive, like a plush red and gold carpet sort of underneath the table as it is here. And you see that there is a number of staff, of like butlers on the other sides, like of the like in between the windows, each with their arm across their chest with a napkin on their side of their arm, as if waiting to be told what to do.
Do they look like Korax?
They do not look like Korax.
Thank goodness. Do any of them look familiar? Does anyone in this room look familiar?
No one here looks familiar. Not in like an ominous way, as like you've never seen these faces. They just look nondescript.
Are there any other doors in this room? Or is the only one?
The only door that you're seeing is the one you just threw open. You do see at the other end, you're basically facing the first single chair. So at the other end of the table where the other single chair is, you see there is a huge fireplace, big enough that you could walk into, but a massive fireplace on the other side.
Of the 2 heads of the table, do either of them look like it's been set up for someone important?
The chair,
Or do they both look
the
very
chair
similar?
at the far side seems, it seems bigger than the rest of them, but in a way that is not to be like showy about it. Like it is the largest chair, but not like in an ostensible way, right? Not like it's ostentatiously larger than the rest of them. It just seems to be slightly larger, maybe have a little bit more filigree, maybe have a little bit more like, you know, tooling around the side of it.
He would walk down. No, Korax would sit at the head of the table. He would walk up to the head of the table and he would take a seat.
The one I just described or the one closest to you?
The one closest.
Okay.
Ooh,
So
no.
the far one is the larger one.
He would sit in the far one because
Okay.
otherwise he'd be sitting with his back to the door.
That is true. So you make your way through this table, and all of this food smells wonderful. Everything looks like perfect. Like you see, like the boar is glistening. You see, like the juices are like coming off this thing. You see, like there is like candied candied vegetables and steaming biscuits. And scones, yeah, you see every food pasties, as they you see all of these croissant. You see all of these things as you walk by the length of the table, and you take the head chair. You sit here. What are you doing in this seat?
He just sits there very awkwardly, and just watches all of those butlers who are standing there to see if any of them move.
Not a single one of them moves. At least not of their not on their own. But you do see that as you sit down, they will several of them move forward to pull a chair out and then push the chair back in as if letting someone sit, and then immediately return back to their place. You get the feeling that the butlers only move when something triggers their movement, and then you begin to see food moved from serving dish to plates, as if there are people sitting in the chairs around the table with you.
He would sit there. He wouldn't take any of the food as much as he wants to. And he's going to keep watching the plates. And after a minute or so, this can't be real. And he slaps himself as hard as he can. And for Korax, that's not hard, but he will slap himself as hard as he can.
As you slap yourself, I'm going to give you an asset to this roll. You can go ahead and make me a difficulty 8 intellect defense roll. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 assets. I'm going to give you 2 assets. Difficulty 8 intellect defense roll with 2 assets.
Right, I am trained in intellect defense roll, so
Great.
It's 2 assets.
Trained is 1. Trained is 1. So 2 assets plus the trained.
I'll take the difficulty to 6 plus trained. Do I have any skills that are going to help? I don't.
I don't think you do. But a 15 is a reasonable number to roll.
And I've got effort. Effort's going to get expensive. All right, let's go. 2 effort. Use the 2 assets already.
Natural 20. Hell yeah. That's the way to do it. Outstanding. This is, Korax is arguably, undeniably, not the physical character we have here. And you sit here and you watch these butlers move to the table, open this thing. You see food start to move as if being grabbed by invisible hands. And seeing anything that you have seen thus far is undeniably unreal. And you realize this, and you swing back with a ferocity, and you smack yourself in the face. With enough force to realize that, yeah, you for sure were headbutted by Antares this morning. As you crack yourself in the face, memory floods back to you. And as you, like, reel back from your own hit, you see that this table, which was 12 feet long, at least by your guess and stride, is now impossibly long. And you see that at each seat is another person, a person that you do not recognize, wearing garb from all over. You see Corsian, daywear, Corsian nightwear. You see, you see like outfits from the Verge. You see all over the place. You think you see there's a Nafar sitting somewhere. There's Taryn, there's Sleen, there's everyone is sitting here. And you realize that the area in front of them is all different food. Like, none of the food makes sense, but they are lavishly eating this food, just pulling this on, right? As they are just destroying whatever is in front of them. And you see that all of their eyes are, like, glassy, like frosted. And they are just non-stop in this eating mode. And as you look around the room, you realize that the butlers, not only did they look nondescript, they looked nondescript because there is no description for them. Their faces are blank canvases. There's just a blank face. No eyes, no nose, no mouth. Their face takes on whatever you project onto them. As they sort of do their diligence here. And as you realize this and see what's happening, you hear... coming from behind you. As you watch the fireplace, like, the fire, like, dies down to, like, this blue-green, and then it slowly is just embers there. And walking out from in the center of the fireplace is, as you know him, the King of Nod. And he says, welcome, welcome. It is not often that I am denied the never-ending feast. Welcome, Korax, little god. What do I owe this honor?
Korax looks around again, like, awkwardly. Not choice?
Well, as much as it may not be your choice to visit me, it does take a strength of will to find yourself in my castle. So either you're here to kill me, you're some sort of agent of deceit, or you just like a chat and you miss your old friend. Either way. Please. And he, like, moves his hand, and the chair you're in sort of rotates towards him.
It's a bit awkward if you're going to stand and I'm going to sit. Do you want to seat?
Oh, no. No. Thank you. Either way, you're in my chair.
Well, nice chair.
Thank you.
But I'm not necessarily here to kill you. I mean, I've been asked to.
Interesting.
Can, like, if people can hear things in your head, can they hear me here?
Yes? If someone were spying on your dreams, they could... Yeah, absolutely.
I don't necessarily know if they can get me in my dreams, but, well, you know of the Rakshasa Queen, right?
Of course I do.
Yeah. She kind of asked me to kill you.
Me?
Yeah.
For what purpose would that serve?
I don't know, but she said if I kill you, like, we would split your power, and I guess I get your library.
You can access the library anytime you'd like, Korax. I mean, I would choose your books more careful than the last time, but you can access it whenever you'd like.
Yeah. If I can access it whenever I like, would the librarian help me find books?
I mean, that's up to him.
Like,
Or them.
yeah, I guess I'll ask him. But yeah. Question for you, Mike.
Yes.
Would Korax know about the Gates of Sleep?
Have you researched them at all?
He wouldn't specifically have researched them.
So here's what I'll say. You don't not know about them, but unless you have had cause to, pull that information out of your mind for some reason, the information's in there, right? But unless you've had cause to pull it out, I don't think you can just bring it up in a conversation, right? Know, as the god of knowledge, you know the sum of all knowledge, but unless you look into it, you can't really bring it out, right?
In which case, he would look and go, so the queen is trying to amass an army? She might be coming here, so I don't know if that helps you.
Oh, they're always trying to amass an army. The queen, the fleshy thing, and the other one. Ever since the gods of the dead are no longer with us, miscreants have attempted to amass an army and take over Soul Rest.
Well, I mean, she gave me two choices. She said I can either try and kill you,
right,
or I've got to kill the dragon. Corso, little city on the ground.
Yeah,
evil lady.
Didn't I tell your friends to kill her?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping to do instead. Because
seems like
you're
a great
lot scarier.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And also, what would happen to your world if you weren't here?
Oh, I am fairly certain it would just crash into the planet and destroy all life.
I mean, that could be why the Rakshasa Queen wants you dead.
Yes.
There'd be a lot more people to Soul Rest.
It would probably be all of them if I had to. I'm not a numbers guy, but I'm pretty sure if Nod crashed into the Afterworld, it would amass quite a bit of death, if not all of it.
Yeah, it's very short-sighted. I mean, compounding interest. If you keep people alive, they make more people, and you get more people. But
it's true. And then the war, this shadow war between the three people in Soul people, generous term, in Soul Rest would be the main stage.
Boring. Okay, so you know that she's coming for you, right?
You're not the first, Korax.
I mean, I don't look like I'm not the type of person to. You can see I'm not going to stab you, right?
To be fair, the Guild of Sleep is also coming for me. And a number of other agents have come for me before. I've even had people steal from me.
Why would anyone do that?
I'm still trying to figure out.
That would just be silly. It just comes back, right?
Well, sometimes. Depends what's stolen.
Can I borrow things from you? Not necessarily steal?
In your dreams. I know that sounds threatening, but I mean that in entirely truthfully. Anything you take here that is let's call them a dream copy, remains in dreams. They cannot be transported back to the physical world. Only physical things that are stored here.
So if I borrow a book, I can't take it with me?
Only
I can
in
look
dreams.
At it
If you were to check out a book from my vast library, the librarian will make sure that there are certain precautions, and when you dream, you would have access to said book. Unless it's stolen while you're awake.
But they can't steal it because it's in the dream world, right?
If they're dreaming and they find your... It gets complicated. But if you try to leave with it, it will
Okay.
return.
And there's no way I can take a copy with me.
No, unfortunately. Now, that being said, if I had the real copy of it, and you physically came here and took the real copy of it, then yes.
Okay. Could I look at your library?
I don't see why not.
And the books in your library, right? There any book that's been dreamed up, thought of, someone's dreamt of while they were reading it?
Yes to all questions. It's a pretty good handle on it.
Okay. Hey, can I go there now?
By all means. It's just through that door. And he motions to the door that you just came through.
He stands, stops, looks at the King of Nod. Thank you? And he does like a little bow.
You're welcome.
And I can just go and look at the library at any time I want?
No one's stopping you.
Can I avoid all the weird? that I had
That's
to go to the
entirely
kitchen?
on you.
No.
I don't
That's-
control
yeah.
what you dream. I can. I can individually if I so choose. I didn't. That's all you. Whatever you have going on in your head is entirely your own business.
Is there anything I can do to make that not happen?
Drugs. There are a number of drugs. Your friend Mina has a few of them, I believe. The Guild of Sleep has them. Usually they have them to not sleep, but they do have ones to specifically. There was that spell that brought you exactly where you wanted to be. There are ways, you just have to find them. I'm not going to make it easy for you, Korax.
I'll speak to Mina. I'll speak to Mina. That's the safest bet. But through the door, right?
Just through that door.
Korax starts walking, but constantly looking back to see if the King of Nod does anything to stop him going through the door.
Yep, he just waves at you when you look back.
As he gets to the door, he does a bow. Thank you. And watch out for the Rakshasa Queen as he slips through the door.
I will. And you open this double door, which noticeably, when you entered the room, like all doors, it opened in. And as you are leaving, it also opens in. So the door, the hinges have changed on the door. As you open into the library, you see the door, you hear the door close behind you, and as you look over your shoulder at the loud bang, there is no door there, and it leads back to the central grand staircase of the palace, the same place it was the first time you were here. And you see, as you see over your shoulder, there is still a glass case that does say Korax, God of Knowledge, with nothing in it. There's a pile of books. It looks like it's a pedestal made for you to be there. And then you see the round desk, of which you see this impossibly tall creature that you know as a librarian, who is robed. You see his green hands sort of poking through, and you see that his head is the head of a giant water buffalo. As he sort of turns to you and his shag sort of shifts as he goes, and he just sort of looks to you and gives you a nod. Unless you ask him for information, he just sort of retains his job here.
Korax walks up to the counter and says quietly, because you're supposed to be quiet in a library, can you help me find some books?
I can help you find anything you'd like to find. What is it that you're looking for?
I'm hoping that you have a diary, or a few diaries. First one is of my sister.
The next?
It's another diary, I'm hoping, of a man named Bennett.
Anything else?
He's, anything written by Xenia. since after the after the big problems. 'Cause I think she's still alive.
The deaths, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the last thing is there anything on how this was made?
No.
It's kind of fascinating.
Dreams. The sculptor in dreams.
Was it made by the king? Or
The
you?
king has made portions of it. I believe the structural integrity is owed to the king, but he is the glue that sort of holds things together. The library itself is any time you dreamt a library, pieces of that dream would form and coalesce into this, as with all dreams. Most of you dream of the same things.
Well, people are not very imaginative.
They are not.
But someone must have started this.
I
Is there a
imagine.
god of dreams?
I imagine that there was.
Ooh, one last book then. Any maps from the Whitecaps?
Oh, interesting. So with that, Chris, I'm going to ask you for a series of numbers. Now you're asking for a diary belonging to your sister, a diary belonging to Bennett, maps from the Whitecaps, and a book written by the god of Earth, the Earthshaker herself, Xenia. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being incredibly specific and or powerful knowledge, 1 being just regular everyday stuff. How high do you rate the information sought in each of these books?
So the diary of his sister, he's not looking for anything specific. He's looking to see, well, I suppose it is specific, if there is a recent entry. That is all.
Okay.
And if the entry potentially mentions where they are, his goal with that book is to know if she's alive.
Okay. So give me a number 1 to 10.
I mean, I'd say it's purely to know if she's alive, so 2.
Okay. What about for Bennett?
Bennett, he wants to be very specific. I'm scared to give you a high number, but it's probably a 9.
Okay.
If not 10.
What about the maps?
The maps are probably an 8.
Okay. And what about the Book of Xenia?
I'd say that's a 9 as well.
Okay. Those are the numbers you need to beat on the rolls to find said information. Now remember,
Okay.
a failed roll means that you may find yourself wrapped up in research.
That's why he's got the library. Okay. These are high rolls.
The librarian, because you asked the librarian this time, as opposed to just wandering the stacks, you asked the librarian this time, the librarian will give you an asset on each of these.
Okay. So I'll roll for his sister's one first. So that was a 2.
It's a 2, and they're all intellect, so spend as you have.
That's 2 for that. Diary of Bennett, I said, was a 9.
I will say you do have some skills here. Some book-based skills now that you've become a god, I believe.
Yep, he does indeed.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So here, I'll give you a 2, a 9, an 8, and a 9.
Okay, so finding the details is and eager to learn.
Okay. I'll take both of those.
Perfect. So I'm gonna just roll one of them. Difficulty 2. No effort.
So on a difficulty 2, you have 1 asset and you have 2 skills you're applying. That is an automatic success.
Yeah, but there's also the chance of a nat 1, Mike.
There's also a chance of a nat 20. You don't have to roll if you don't want to roll. That is an automatic success. If you choose to roll, whatever happens, happens.
Okay, I'll take the automatic success for his sister.
Okay.
So we'll do Diary of Bennett. That is a 9. So you get to learn to roll that. Difficulty 9. Jesus. Okay. Submit effort to roll. We're going to use all of our efforts. So is an asset from the librarian and an asset from finding the details.
Yep. You have XP.
I do have XP. Yeah, let's use an XP. And I've got Divine Shifts. Knowledge. Yeah, I should have used Divine Shifts on that as well. Okay, so I'll use all 3 Divine Shifts. 1, 2, 3. Take it down to 6. With 3 efforts. 2 assets. Success.
Okay, you find a Diary of Bennett.
And the next one is the maps. So it's an 8. So same again.
It's the most tense library search. Some Call of Cthulhu level library use.
Success.
Okay, success on the maps.
Effort to roll. 2 assets. Success.
Success. Okay, cool. How much of this information do you want above table? How much do you want below the table?
It can all be above table. That's
okay. Your sister is alive. She is currently alive. She is currently on the 3rd floor of the Deeps, inside an area with green statues. She is actively writing a diary. Not like at this very second, but she is the diary update is like current. The last entry was from a couple days ago. The Diary of Bennett, what are you looking for in this?
So from the Diary of Bennett, he is looking to find any mention of how he got from the 2nd to the 5th deep.
Interesting. Okay. It is written like first person in a diary, right? So you don't exactly, when you're keeping your own diary, you're not as descriptive because you're the person who knows what happened. That being said, from what you can pick up here, it is not a passage. It's a fall. He references the fall, not in like capital F fall, but he references the fall. There's reference to a cliff. There's reference to waking up in a previously undiscovered deep, and the assumption that this is the 5th deep. Very hard to determine if that is the case if no one's been here before. And there is reference to oh god, the other guy. So what was his name? Regis, thank you.
Regis.
There is reference
Mr.
to
Regis.
Regis. And let me see here. You rolled on a okay. You added so much shit to it. Here's what I'll tell you. You have 1 XP. You have the information you wanted out of this. At the cost of 1 XP, I will tell you what the last entry says.
I will spend the XP. Yeah, I'll spend the XP.
Do you want that above the table?
Let's say no, Mike.
Okay. Cool. I will send you that. For the maps, what are you looking for maps here?
He's just trying to get a lay of how to navigate the deeps. So I know it's going to be a lot to remember, which is why I put the number on that so high. But his goal was to try and, if we lost the guide or didn't trust the guide, that we could navigate it in some way by ourselves.
Okay.
Sorry, there was another point, is if he could figure out where that linked with Bennett. But because Bennett's not specific,
okay,
I'm sure he wouldn't.
Here's what I'll say. You have enough maps. How do I want to word this? You have enough maps that you think you can confidently relay the information to Seydlitz, who would know how to utilize them better than you. However, you, being the god of knowledge, know that what you remember from a dream fades quickly. So you can study these things while dreaming, but the moment you wake up, you're trying to scramble to remember what was in the dream, so you may only get snippets of the map itself. But you're sure that if you can remember something, you can relay that to Seydlitz, and he should be able to utilize that better than you can. That makes sense?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Diary of Xenia. Or a book written by Xenia? What was the wording? I'm sorry.
It was a book written by Xenia, or anything written by Xenia post the fall.
As an answer to your question, there is nothing written by Xenia post the fall.
Okay.
However, not to leave you hanging with you have 3 intellect left. So not out of 24. So not to rob you of all your resources. You do not find anything written by Xenia, but in the Xenia section of the library, there are at least 3 potentials. Think of like that scene from The Matrix where like this guy might be the one moving the spoon. There are 3 potentials who may be rising powers of Earth in the sphere of Xenia. One of them is you can kind of rule out as who you think might be the person talking to you. And one of them is Chronotus, who is he is in the sphere of magnetism, and Chronotus is the one of the first people you guys met outside of Corso. He's the guy who can levitate stuff. He is in the realm of Earth, but you don't think he's the one moving things around and making little Earth motes talk to you and shit. Cool.
Would that be enough for Korax to assume that who he's been communicating with is not Xenia?
Yes, it is. Yes, that's enough for you to assume that it's not Xenia, but it is probably one of the other children, like the demigods, like you are, who has not found their divinity yet.
Perfect.
Cool. And I think at this point, I will turn to the rest of the group. Antares, Mina, and Seydlitz, you return to the guild hall, and you return to the area where the contracting should have been done. Hopefully to see Korax ready and waiting with the contract. But what you see instead is a rolled up piece of paper on the chair sat next to a slumbering Korax. So, the 3 of you there, how do you choose to wake Korax from his slumber?
Honestly, if I had to sit here for an hour, I'm not surprised he fell asleep.
I mean, do we wake him? We can just carry him back to the hotel.
But I was hoping to get dinner on the way back. Wake him gently.
Mina just motions to Antares. She's the gentlest of us all.
Fine, I'll do it.
No, she steps forward and She puts a hand on his shoulder. Not necessarily a rough hand, but not a gentle one either. She's kind of like, Corax.
Correct.
Wake up.
You stir.
Wait. No. I wasn't done. I wasn't done. And he digs in it and he pulls out a piece of paper and he starts sketching a small portion of a map. Why are you here?
We came to get you.
I'm waiting for the contract.
It's been more than an hour.
Shit. Okay.
Also, I think this is the contract. Seydlitz grabs the rolled up piece of paper.
I'll read that. He'll take it from Seydlitz if you'll give it over to him.
Yeah,
and he
he
pockets it. Yeah, we need to go talk. Oh, not here.
I know a
We
place.
got rooms.
Korax looks to Mina. My sister's alive, and she's with whoever's calling your name. Well, at least one of my sisters is alive.
She's with my mum.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so people that have been praying to me, it's because my mum's with them and she told them to pray to me because we're coming to rescue them, apparently.
So, when do we leave?
That's what I've been asking. I'm ready.
Can we go now?
No.
When will the guide be ready? What does the contract say?
I'll read that later. We need to go. You said we got rooms?
Don't we need a guide?
We'll
Before
discuss
that.
that later.
Let's go. She's just gonna head for the door.
Korax bows to the people behind the counter. Just a half bow and says, thank you.
Hey, and Terry's.
No problem.
What?
Can I suggest a place?
You know. this
Fernand
place
told
better
me
than
about
us.
some hole in the wall that he knows about. Apparently good food.
Okay. She's very gruff.
Watching Chris's face at the message I just sent him was a roller coaster. Everyone go back and rewatch that.
I like that.
Pointedly choosing to ignore it.
Yeah. What you know this place better than we do. It's a quiet place where we can talk undisturbed and without prying ears. Then
I
let's go.
mean, it should be undisturbed.
She walks out.
Alright.
Where are you taking them, Seydlitz?
Mike, remember what we discussed?
Yes?
Taking him there.
From several months ago? Of course I remember. As I furiously
Check
check
your
my
Discord
notes.
messages.
Yeah, I totally remember exactly what you're talking about from the game we played 3 months ago.
Don't you love it?
No, I have no idea. Hold on. Wait. Oh, yeah. That's right. I do recall. Okay, cool. So yeah, you take him. Do you know the name of the restaurant? You feel free to name it. It's your creation.
It doesn't have a name. It is just a hole in the wall little parlor and some side alley that not many people know about. And there's no sign, no anything. It's just a door.
Okay. So down an alleyway, there is a secret parlor here, and you enter into this room, and you see. Now, is this meant to be a nice place, Seydlitz? You have been talking it up to be a nice place.
It is a upper crust place.
Okay.
It's the owner's like, according to Fernand, the owner is some retired chef that used to work for some like really wealthy person.
Gordon Ramsay of
Yes.
Tues
Yeah,
Old
of course.
Mhm.
So you walk into like an alleyway, right? Like it seems like an alley you're gonna be mugged in, right? And you open just this side door into like the side of a building, and you find yourselves in a fairly upper crust, fancy white table, wait staff level, gilded forks kind of place, right? And this is you see like the clientele here are like very like pompous merchants, right? You see a lot of people with money. You see accomplished either guild members, if not like expeditionary funders kind of thing. And I will say for Mina, Mina, go ahead and give me a an intellect difficulty 3 roll here, and this is to like spot something. This is like a perception based kind of thing.
I mean, it doesn't have anything that helps him see things.
Okay. Oh, great.
Hey, you still
Um,
succeeded.
Mina, you see a woman here, a rather surly, albeit fairly, like very has done manual labor, but also very like chiseled and handsome features. You see on the side of her chair is a large, like touching the ground white cape, and on the other side of her chair hangs a large white hat, both of which you recognize from the meeting you attended with Seydlitz. Seydlitz, you also see this, but that's because you were looking for it. You see
Seydlitz knew he was there.
You see that sat at one table is Banakadal. As the four of you enter, there is a wait staff that sort of comes over, or a host that sort of comes over and looks to you, and you can immediately feel the sense of judgment in that all of you are road weary and dirty, and also adventurers, and that no one here is unbathed and unclean at all. This is very much like a hoity-toity kind of place. As you are, but at the same time, it's like if you didn't know it was here, you wouldn't even be here, kind of thing. So only the people that know its existence get seats. It's a weird situation. But they look at you, and their eyes are dripping with condescension as they look to you and say, 4?
Yes.
No, table for 8, please.
This way. And he leads you over to a 4-top round table. All of these are like high back brass chairs with like very comfortable like plush red velvet cushions and backs, white tables, sort of faux gilded forks and like cutlery and plates as they sit you down. And as they are leaving, another person sort of comes up and brings a very like ornate fluted like gooseneck pitcher of scented water and sort of places it at the table. And then they walk away. And you see that there are no menus here. There's nothing to like order. There's no like board that has like today's specials. There's no ever burning soup in the cauldron. It just seems to be you have to know what's on the menu and order it kind of place. But you all, the 4 of you, sit down. Was there something you had to say, Corax?
Secret information.
I have made
He
it
looks
very
at-
difficult for you. I am sorry.
He looks around at the room. You sure no one's going to be listening to what we say here?
Mina just goes, that's Banaka Dal. We spoke to her before. But he says it too loud, so that it obviously carries to her.
Perfect.
I apologize. Seydlitz kind of just was under breath and saying so no one can hear it. Two choruses like, I apologize, but I brought us here on other business.
I don't know if this is the best place to be discussing stuff.
Can we keep our voices down?
I am, obviously.
She like her hand is like on the cutlery and her fist grips the nut like the butter knife.
Calm down, Antares. We don't want to start anything here.
She
Well-
gives him a look.
I went to nod again.
Oh,
I had some help by the librarian to find some bits of information that we need.
did you see him?
The king, he's lovely.
Yeah, I've always wanted to talk to him again. Nice guy.
He was really. He said I can visit any time I want, and he said that Mina can tell me how to get there.
Yes, I'm sure he's very accommodating. So
He
what
was.
did you learn?
Corax looks at her with like a really type of expression. We're in a restaurant. You can't exactly go, hey guys, I know how to get to the 5th deep when I'm here.
That's why we're keeping our voices down.
But we don't want to go to the 5th deep. We want to go to the 3rd.
Yeah, my sister's there.
Oh boy, more people to hunt down.
No, she's with the others. And
She's at the Colossus, is what you're saying.
yeah, but also I had a look at Bennett's diary, and he didn't find a passage. He found a cliff. He fell.
That's slightly horrifying to think about.
Well,
I think I'm more horrified at the fact that that he can find that out.
the Library of Nod. When you're friends with the king.
Friends, more
Anyth-
like pending trophy.
Well, he
there's
said
that,
there's
but
like a dream version of almost anything that exists, right?
yeah.
So if you know how to find it. How did you know your sister was alive?
I looked at her diary too.
You read her diary?
How else am I supposed to know she's alive? I
What
don't
did she
hear
say?
people It said, I'm alive. I didn't really read the words in Terry's. I was looking
That's
to see
not
how
how
recent it
girls
was.
write in diaries.
Well, she said, my Break Brother Corax is the best.
Oh, yes, I'm sure that's exactly what she said.
Well, when I say I read her diary, I looked to see that it was written in, and it was recent. And it said that she was in the deeps. I had other things to find.
What's your sister's name? I can listen for her if she's praying to me.
Eve.
Eve.
She's the little one. I
Okay.
didn't think the older one could still be using diaries.
If I hear her praying to me, I'll let you know.
Thanks, Mina. And if you can show me how to get back to Nod.
Yes. I've done it before.
I mean, it's not saying I want to do every day, but most of it was weird and rarely messed up, but it might be handy in future.
Okay.
But and he looks to Seydlitz, we're looking for a cliff and a way of getting down a cliff without dying.
Is he alive? Could you tell?
How recent are those last messages, Mike?
29 AF is the year.
What's the current year?
So the current
Same year?
year is 40 something. Hold on. The current year is 42.
The entries are really old, the latest ones. But he might be. I don't know what he's done. He's taken a deal, but I don't know what that means. He might be, but we're talking 13 years ago.
What was that roll for? Yay for secret conversations. Well, Corax, if that's all you want to talk about, I have other business. Fernand says to try the chef's special. Now, if you excuse me, and Seydlitz is going to stand up and casually stroll over to the Bene where Benakatal is sitting.
Is he going on a date?
Excuse me, ma'am, is this seat taken?
She looks to you and she says, "It very much is."
Whoa. Bitch.
I figured you'd be like that.
Can I help you?
There was just more I wanted to discuss in a less formal setting.
And you chose to interrupt my meal.
What's better than conversation while having food?
Conversation with people I'd like to converse with.
Very well. Then I will find you again another time.
What is it that you'd like?
Nothing much, really. Just wanting to know when things will be ready. I know we have the contract, all that stuff. But I sent a missive over to Samora. Request. You probably wouldn't know about this. What do you know about Samora's 5 gods?
That they have them, allegedly.
Do you know what they are? What gods they are of?
No, I don't have the time to really give a shit about local hearsay and folk tales. We have a job to do. I know
Get all
you've
your
never been
information.
in the deeps, but it is considerably deadly and considerably lucrative operation that I'm running here. It takes all of my attention.
Well, what if I told you one of them gods has access to all known knowledge of the world?
That
You
would
claim
be...
knowledge is secret.
I claim that secret knowledge is secret. There are public libraries and things of that
You
nature.
claim your knowledge is secret, yet I have at a back door to a supposed god that can tell me every secret you know.
Interesting. Is this... Are we amateur hour blackmail?
No, I don't care.
Oh,
I just know we're both holding secrets about things, but the funny fact is you'll never know mine, but I will eventually find out yours. It's quite humorous, really.
well, you know, I do appreciate the joke. And best wishes to you, and I hope that you don't end up like your father.
Oh well. If you wish to be left alone, I shall do that, but I will find you again.
I am one of the most well-known people in the city. It shouldn't be that hard.
No. No, it won't be. Seydlitz walks away.
Good day. And like her food gets delivered as you're walking away back to the table.
I tripped the waiter. No, I'm just kidding.
It is fun just trying to purposely piss off these characters because I know.
Yeah. So as you make your way back to the table, and enjoy a very good and very expensive meal. Is there anything else that happens as Seydlitz gets back to the table? Or do we end this session with you guys enjoying a fine dinner?
When Seydlitz stands up and starts to walk away, Korax leans towards Antares, says, Bennett took a deal. He said the seed is everything.
The seed
One
is
from
what?
the vision.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. The seed is what?
The seed is everything.
Everything.
Yes, he took a deal. Mike, can I recall what the deal was? Is there any mention of what the deal was?
You have the exact notes that are in the diary.
Okay. He took a deal with the Zekadid. Don't know who they are, but he's after the seed, or he's protecting the seed, or whatever. That's what we saw in the vision. And as Seydlitz comes back, Korax just sits back in his seat.
And that's where we end this episode of The Rise. Called, what did I call it? Familial bonds. Yeah. That's a good one. Family ties. Cool. That ends episode 42 of The Rise. And while, G, you did not yell at me at the end of last one, you did say, damn it, as I ended the episode. So, not yelling at me, but an exclamation nonetheless. So that is where we wrap episode 42. We'll be back next month for episode 43, which is, I believe, the start of when we delve into the deeps. Is it my intention. As we delve into the deeps, that is the start, that is episode 1 of Arc 3? Arc 4? Arc something. Arc 4. That is the first episode of Arc 4. Is episode 43. So
nothing like going into the deeps while Seydlitz is intentionally trying to make another enemy.
Yes, nothing like that. Yeah, so the next episode is the start of Act 4 in the deeps, which I have told the players in the after shows that Act 4 could be the final act of the campaign. It very well could be. Who knows? So
well,
you're not allowed to end this campaign.
I do what I
want. We might have the next campaign.
That's true. We'll see how this one ends and then where we go from here. But yeah, I there are unanswered questions happening in the Afterworld. There are untied ties. There are strings dangling. But the Deeps is one of the endings that I have envisioned for this campaign. So that being said, let's go around, do our introductions, and get the hell out of here so we can do our after show and we can chat about all the secrets and the hot little goss that's been happening behind the scenes in this episode. So we'll start with the gossip master this episode. Chris, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Chris, aka Necro, spreading gossip, apparently. Nowhere, you can't find me anywhere other than in the Discord or here on unMadeGaming things. So there's the Patreon one-shots, which are next weekend, and Atari Twilight Age of Always, which I believe we're still trying to schedule.
September something.
7th?
Nope, I was wrong. All right, September. Perfect.
Check the group chat, everybody, for the love of God.
I don't know. It's a date.
I checked it the other day. I didn't know it changed again. All right. That being said, we'll jump over to everyone's favorite little mama's boy. Norm, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Normal Snow. You can find me... No, that's not... Waste Guy is not something you can find me in because no one can see it. But in the Patreon one-shots and sometimes the Discord.
Hell yeah. And the character with both mommy and daddy issues, G, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Hi. Yeah, I'm the friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. You'll find me in the unMadeGaming Discord, in the regular streams during the week where I mod. The Patreon one-shots are next weekend, and next Sunday is Mundus Novus with Melissa. Monday is Ask a Lich, so please stick around for that. And yeah, that's me.
And last but not least, everyone's favorite shit stirrer, Matt, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
I'm Matt or D. You'll find me here in the Patreon campaign and the Patreon one-shots that are happening next week. Woo! And Mike's Discords.
Hell freaking yeah. That's it for us, guys. If you like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is like these fine folks you see here before you over on our Patreon. Link in the description down below. While you're down there, I implore you, join us over on the Discord. That's where all of the community and discussion happens about daily lives, our ongoing series, and we also have some looking for group stuff if you're looking for players. And I will remind everyone that on the Patreon, there is now a free tier, and I am posting free stuff there to include recaps of my home games and certain of my professional GM games. So definitely go check that out. And you can also, I believe, you can also join for a like a temporary like 5-day pass at the $5 tier and get access to our after shows. But go check that out. That's the best way to support us. But for now, that's it from all of us. We will see you next month for more of The Rise. So from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.
Bye.